I greet you all in the name of peace, democracy and freedom for all. I stand here before you not as a prophet, but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. Nelson Mandela. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. It is in your hands, to make a better world for all who live in it. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others. Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it. A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world a better place we so passionately dreamt of. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. Nelson Mandela. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. It always seems impossible until it's done. Many people in this country have paid the price before me and many will pay the price after me. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. Motivational. It is not our diversity which divides us, it is not our ethnicity, or religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. A critical, independent and investigative press is the lifeblood of any democracy. Nelson Mandela Motivational Hub. The press must be free from state interference. It must have the economic strength to stand up to the blandishments of government officials. It must have sufficient independence from vested interests to be bold and inquiring without fear or favor. It must enjoy the protection of the Constitution, so that it can protect our rights as citizens. Not all gifted children go on to achieve great things as adults. Here are 7 who did. Many people in this country have paid the price before me and many. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. From the poorest of countries to the richest of nations, education is the key to moving forward. Poverty is not an accident. Like slavery and apartheid, it is man-made and can be removed by the actions of human beings. Without education, your children can never really meet the challenges they will face. So it's important to give Nelson Mandela. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Educating all of our children must be one of our most urgent priorities. We all know that education, more than anything else, improves your chances of building better lives. Motivation. Educating all of our children must be one of our most urgent priorities. We all know that education, more than anything else, improves your chances of building better lives. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Nelson Mandela. Educating all of our children must be one of our most urgent priorities. We all know that education, more than anything else, improves your chances of building better lives. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Nelson Mandela. It reaffirmed my long-held belief that education was the enemy of prejudice. These were men and women of science, and science had no room for racism. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his back. Nelson Mandela. On the first day of school, my teacher, Miss Mdingane, gave each of us an English name and said that from thenceforth that was the name we would answer to in school. This was the custom among Africans in those days and was undoubtedly. Nelson Mandela. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Any nation that is progressive is led by people who have had the privilege of studying. It is not beyond our power to create a world in which all children have access to a good education. A good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. I learned that when courage was not the absence of fear, then you have something very special. Let's recommit. The great man is not he who does not feel afraid. A nation where all of us are winners. Nelson Mandela. The greatest glory in living is not in falling, but in rising every time we fall. Motivation.